Our studio is located here in Surry Hills, and we've just done a project called St Thomas Place. It's received approval by the Gold Coast City Council, and I guess some of the major ideas that we see making that project different to others is a focus on the arts, the mix of uses, the gallery spaces, the vertical greenery, plus a really unique live-work arrangement. And when some people say, where do you get that inspiration from? You know, we do these things called walking tours through Surry Hills, and I guess the benefit for us is that in one of these older neighbourhoods, it's had time to evolve and molt over time, and particularly when you're attracting creative types, you've got small bars, you've got cafes, you've got gallery spaces, so it's not about reinventing the wheel, but it's understanding how something that's happened organically could be taken and put into a place to help it evolve perhaps more quickly than it would have otherwise done. And that's what we see the benefit of having our office here in a neighbourhood like that. Today we're standing in the St Thomas Ducks Winery Plaza area on Crown Street, and I guess the reason why this inspired us for the project is it's completely framed around the value of lifestyle. And when you look at everything that's compressed here into a very small space, you have a cafe over here, you have a wine bar here, you have a boutique supermarket here that's also doing gelato through to fresh flowers, you've got a sushi shop here, you've then got half a dozen other shops which all congregate around this small space. And for us, the ability to do something really intensely with a small amount of land was a wonderful opportunity for St Thomas Place, and it was this sort of compression and the activity that you get that inspired us to do it up there. Look, here we are in blank space on Crown Street, Surry Hills, and this is probably one of the first emerging spaces for local artists to come through, and it was just something that inspired us because too often there's the large art galleries for when you've made it, but it's very difficult if you're an emerging artist to have an area to show your paintings or your drawings or other sorts of things. So the idea is to take a really simple space like this and give creative people the opportunity to demonstrate their work, but in doing that actually attract creative people to that neighbourhood, and with that comes the restaurants, the small bars and the other sort of activity that makes a place exciting to be in, and everything begins to feed off one another, just like Surry Hills. At St Thomas Place, I mean, I guess one thing the project was about was collaboration. So there was ourselves on urban design, Studio LFA and EJE were the architects, and then we also flew in Patrick Blank, who's a specialist in vertical greenery. And the one thing that we wanted to demonstrate was that everything in the project could be mixed use. So inspired by these sorts of vertical greenery plus ones that Patrick Blank's done overseas, we've combined that to be a piece of public art, to have an environmental benefit, to help screen some car parking, but most importantly it will become a new symbol of the Gold Coast as it transforms towards the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and that in particular is what Council was very excited about. So here we are in St Margaret's in Surry Hills, and I guess one of the challenges that you have in a project like St Thomas Place is how to deal with the parking, and the issue that we had was that the parking standards was creating a basement parking solution that made it unviable in that market. So looking at examples like this where they've successfully reduced the parking, our vision was able to convince Council that you didn't need to have as much parking because you could have walking and cycling and a range of other sustainable transport modes like the light rail that they're building. In removing the need to have a basement car park, we're able to focus our attention on a wonderful architectural aesthetic, and it's very modern and very Gold Coast, whilst at the same time still ensuring our buildings create a public realm through cafes, gallery space and the other sorts of things you've seen today. So at St Thomas Place, a major benefit that we've provided is sustainable technologies or green technologies. So from renewable energies through to natural ventilation, there's a range of things that we're doing to help create a sustainable future for the Gold Coast. An example of green technologies is the photovoltaic panels that we've used at St Thomas, which will provide some energy to the project from lighting through to other things. Well, here we are in Dank Street, Waterloo, which is one of the creative live-work neighbourhoods in Sydney. And the basic idea is that you can basically live and work, but in buildings that are specifically designed for that. And you get a real sort of creative precinct and a hub, and different sorts of businesses share facilities. You could be an architect, you could be a graphic designer, and then you might meet in the cafe and do business together. And that's what it's all about, and that's what we've done at St Thomas Place. So a key thing we're doing at St Thomas is the value of public art, and we're creating new plaza space with public art for the community to enjoy, and council really loved that gesture of something more for the public than rather than just the development. The focus on the arts and the creative and the cultural industries will help with the cultural renaissance of the Gold Coast as it grows over the next decade, and St Thomas Place, we believe, will be a key part in that journey.